Happy Wednesday, Brigade. What's up? Welcome in to another episode of the Bostonian versus the Book. My name is Matt Peralta. We're live on YouTube and on X, Twitter, replay on Sports Grid Television, and wherever you guys get your audio podcasts. Today on the show, well, we got an MVP race to talk about. All the Chief fans are all mad. They're all mad about yesterday. Everyone's all up in arms on socials at me because we pointed out the study that UTEP did about the referees being in the tank for the Chiefs. Chief fans are all, you guys are all tin hat conspiracy theorists. Oh, now we are. Okay, sure. But when the Patriots, when that was going on, yeah, full season, right? When the shoe goes on the other foot, doesn't it feel different? It feels differently, doesn't it? When someone's attacking your franchise in your dynasty, trying to tell you that it's not legitimate, that sucks, doesn't it? Right? It's no fun. We'll get into that in the opening line here in one moment. It is Wednesday. That means we will talk, or at least we will read, Evan Abrams, his Week 7 primer from the Action Network, which I still think is such an incredible thing that he does. He does not get nearly as much credit for what he does for the gambling space and the amount of information he puts out. And for a trend better like me, I literally wait every Wednesday for that thing to drop on the Action Network. So I read it so you don't have to, and I pull out nuggets throughout the week as we talk about what's going to happen in Week 7 of the NFL. Stay tuned for that. Baseball, obviously, on the brain with the Dodgers big win last night in Game 3 tonight in Seattle. If I have been distracted over the last couple of months, I hope you guys understand why, okay? Something happened this morning to me that just crystallized how incredibly screwed up I am. And I talked about it in bonus time yesterday a little bit about the scrambled eggs my brain currently has been. And there are multiple reasons. There is so much going on in my personal life right now. It's crazy. And it's been one of the most trying 2 months of my life. And this morning, I haven't been able to do automotive reviews because I do that's one of my 18 jobs, is I do car reviews. But I haven't been able to because my arm's been in a sling. And until I was cleared to not drive with the sling on, I could not drive a review because it could void the insurance for the people that I do the reviews for. So I was not able to actually drive. So when I was cleared yesterday, awesome. That's why I went to physical therapy on Tuesday and said, hey, you're all good. You're out of the sling. We're all good now. The work starts on Thursday. I'll start physical therapy back to get my arm. And my arm is like completely, we got a lot of work to do. Like we did a whole assessment yesterday and my therapist was like, okay, come here Thursday and be ready because we got to get rolling because the arm really, like I can't really use my right arm at all. Like it's not great. And so I've got a right arm problem. Okay. So physically I have a problem. I lost my best friend. Okay. And every damn time this show starts and every time we do something and every time a story breaks and every time I pick the phone up to text or call and it's a reminder of what has gone on over the last couple of weeks. So that's obviously been a lot. There's other things going on in my family, in my personal life. Like there's a lot of things that are rolling right now that is just an avalanche of bad news. And so I get a text from the people that drop off the vehicle this morning, and they say to me, hey, your suitcase is in the trunk, just FYI. I go, what suitcase? What suitcase? In the trunk? What are we talking about? What suitcase? I go out there and I open the car that I'm going to review. I've got a gorgeous Volvo that I'm going to review this week, and it's beautiful vehicle. I'm like, oh, it's in my driveway. I'm like, this is great. So I walk out. My entire live broadcasting equipment set was gone for 2 months, and I didn't know it. Thousands of dollars worth of broadcasting equipment. The way we do live shows anywhere in the country, the only way that we were ever able to go live, other than a computer, everything else, and the microphone, okay? But everything else we used to go live for BVB was in that suitcase. And I had no idea it was gone. It had been gone since August. August, September, October. It had been gone for 3 months. I had no idea it was gone. I opened the trunk and I went, oh my goodness. I had no idea it was gone. So that's where I am. So if I haven't responded to an email, if I haven't responded to a text message, if I haven't responded to a DM, if I've done you wrong in any form or fashion over the last 2 months, understand that I'm on a different planet. I'm on a different planet emotionally, psychologically, like everything is. I literally stood there in my doorway staring at that suitcase about 10 minutes ago, thinking to myself, man, I am not in a good place. And I think we all have to be able to admit that as men. We got to admit that when we're struggling, we're in a tough spot. I mean, Dave would be sitting here going, yeah, you're a mess. You're a mess, because that stuff never happens normally. Like, I am pretty meticulous when it comes to my equipment, when it comes to my microphones, when it comes to the audio equipment. I have a whole kit that I have built out that is now mobile. It's a suitcase. It's just like you pop the suitcase there and you can roll it all together, and then we can go live in like 20 minutes. It takes me to unload the suitcase and put it all together. But if the suitcase is gone, yeah, I cannot believe, for the life of me, I cannot believe that I did not know that that was gone. That I had no, if someone had told me, where's your broadcasting gear? I would say, oh, it's in the closet where I always keep it. I literally like went into the closet and opened it. Went, wait a minute, this is a duplicate. Like, am I in Twilight Zone? No, that was gone since August, and I had absolutely no idea. So to give you an idea of where my brain is going on at the moment. So I apologize for everything, whether it be surgery, whether it be the fact that I still can't really use my right arm. It's there, but I can't lift it. I can't hold much. I'm kind of going backwards. August, after the live shows at Circa, that was the last time I had that suitcase. Was August. So yeah, I'm very lucky it got returned to me, because I had no knowledge of it being gone. Zero, none, nothing. No clue. Did not know it was missing. Didn't know it was gone until the guy said, check the trunk, because your suitcase is in the trunk. So yes, I am very, very fortunate that that was returned to me, because I would have booked a live show. I would have gone and had the most disgusting feeling, heart drop, throw up type moment when I went and gone. If I would have gone and looked for the live stuff, I would have looked for it probably like a day before that we were going to do the live show. We don't have one booked at the moment, but when the next one we do, I want to go to Chicago. The next one we do, I want to go back to Chicago. So I'm trying to do that at some point in the early part of 26. I want to go to Chicago, but I would have gone into the closet, would have opened it and gone, where's my live stuff? And had no knowledge of where it was. So yes, thankfully that stuff was returned to me today, but that's where I am mentally at the moment. Not exactly a sharp tool at the moment in my life. Opening line. Let's talk MVP voting for the NFL. All right. So I went into this morning after this story popped up that Patrick Mahomes is now the leader in the clubhouse, if you will. He has the shortest odds to win the MVP. Now, we are a ways away from the MVP, but I thought it was interesting to look at it because Mahomes is 2-1, Josh Allen is 3-1, and Baker Mayfield at most sports books is plus 350. It's a gigantic jump, and it's wild as a Patriot fan to see Drake May in his second year as the fourth option ahead of Jared Goff, who leads the NFL in touchdown tosses at the moment, Matthew Stafford and Jordan Love, who were expected to be in the conversation for the MVP, and Mahomes at 2-1, Allen 3-1, and Baker Mayfield at 3.5-1. Those have separated themselves. So I wanted to kind of take a look at just those three quarterbacks. I don't think Drake May will win the MVP, but it would be incredible if Drake May were to win the MVP. But I started to do a little research as to like what exactly is going on right now. Because remember, when it comes to betting on an MVP and what the books are doing, the books do not place numbers as a prediction for what is going to happen. Okay. If anything could be done about that conversation in the public, it would be awesome. Because everybody in the media who is now being forced to talk about odds, and I understand why, right? You turn on sports talk radio in New York, in Philly, in Chicago, in Los Angeles, I guess not Los Angeles, but in any legalized market, in a major market in America. If you're doing sports talk radio, your program director is telling you, you have to talk about the numbers because our audience is talking about the numbers, okay? Even if you don't know about the numbers, and I'm not saying I would have, again, the School of Sherapan, I went to it and I got a 5-year lesson in sports gambling, in sports betting, and how to make markets and why markets are made. The books know the public is going to bet Mahomes. They just know this, that Patrick Mahomes, as he's getting his wide receivers back, he's going to have Rashee Rice right now in week 7. He's got Xavier Worthy back. He's got Travis Kelce. So everyone's going to bet Patrick Mahomes. It doesn't mean that Mahomes is going to win it, but it does mean that Mahomes is going to take the most action. I think Josh Allen's out. I don't think Josh Allen's going to win this award. Okay. Josh Allen had it last year. I don't believe in back-to-back years. I don't think it happens. And I don't think the voters are going to vote for Josh Allen. So now we've got two options at the moment. Okay. We have 2. And so it's Mahomes, it's Allen and Mayfield, but I really think it's Mayfield and Mahomes. If you look at the numbers, and I went and did kind of like a crash course on the numbers between the 3 of them, okay? This is a 2025 quarterback comparison, Mahomes and Mayfield. I did this. This is total QBR. This is fourth quarter QBR, and this is passer rating, okay? Mahomes leads Mayfield and Allen, but Mayfield is way above Allen for total QBR. In fourth quarter QBR, right now, Patrick Mahomes leads all 3 quarterbacks. Not dramatically, but does lead. And passer rating, Mahomes leads all Mayfield and Allen. His numbers have been very impressive up to this point. But going into the year, the opponents for the Chiefs were supposed to be good. The Ravens were supposed to be good. There's teams that the Chiefs played that were supposed to be good that are not good at the moment. And you start looking at where they are through week 6. I mean, he played the Eagles, the Jaguars, the Bills, the Chargers. Okay, Mahomes, but he's 3-3. And the opponent combined record 21-15. For Mayfield, he's 5-1, 20-16. Average defensive rank, yards allowed, 11.9. Mahomes has faced a little bit of a tougher defense. 13.8, not dramatically different. Tough. Top quality opponents, AFC West, Chargers, Broncos. Okay, didn't fare too well there. And the NFC South, Saints and the Falcons. Come from behind game-winning drives. Mayfield has 4 of them. 4 of the 5 wins for Baker Mayfield have come on a game-winning drive. 2 for Patrick Mahomes so far. So here we are going into week number 7. And we have Baker Mayfield on the road at Detroit. If he pulls this off, this is the injury report, and it's not even the whole thing because I can't put the whole thing on the screen. It's too damn big. Mike Evans, questionable. Chris Godwin, doubtful. Bucky Irvin, doubtful. I'm not going to do the Gronk, the Ime Ibuka. I can't say Ime Ibuka. No one can say Ime Ibuka. Hamstring, questionable. I mean, look at this. Baker Mayfield, who is he throwing to? These guys are all hurt. The injury report is ridiculous. If they do this, if he can keep this going, if they go to 6-1, going on the road to beat the Lions this week, and I'm not saying they're going to, but if Baker Mayfield can pull this off, bro, the value right now, what does that number go to if Baker Mayfield pulls this off? I think he becomes the odds-on favorite. I think people hammer Baker Mayfield right now, and they hammer him if he beats the Lions on the road. And as some of our resident Lions fans are pointing out, there's a big problem with the secondary for the Lions. Yes. And you just got one of your guys suspended for getting into a fight after the loss to the Chiefs. So, yeah. But if you're going to bet it, You better bet it now. I completely and totally agree. That might be the best number we're going to get in a while on Baker Mayfield with the MVP if he goes in there and beats. And I don't care if the Lions are banged up defensively or not. You're going into their place with a ragtag offensive line. Yes, you have Tristan Wirfs back, but the rest of the guys, you've got running back issues, you have wide receiver issues, you have tight end issues, and the Bucs defense is not that great. Okay, it's not that great. So let's look ahead for the rest of the season, okay? From week 7 on, what are we looking at from a record perspective? Remaining opponents combined record. Patrick Mahomes, 41-30. Baker Mayfield is 36-36. Defensive rank, 10.9, 16.7. Sixth hardest remaining strength of schedule for Patrick Mahomes. 17th for Baker Mayfield. Toughest remaining games, Buffalo, Tampa, they'll play each other. Cleveland, Baltimore. KC for Mayfield, Philly, and Jacksonville. That game against the Chiefs might determine the MVP. Easiest remaining games, Denver and the Raiders. That's not that easy. It's at home at least, but it's still Denver. It's still the Broncos, who could be a real pain in the ass, and Vegas twice, including this week. For Baker Mayfield, they play Atlanta twice and Carolina twice. The bye week for both these teams coming up in week 10 and week 11. It's going to be easier for Baker Mayfield, and he most likely is going to wind up with a better record and better stats than Patrick Mahomes is going to. There's even better numbers if you want to bet Baker. Projected, this is ChatGPT's projection, okay? So this is just what the algorithm crazy AI folks are telling us, okay? But the biggest difference is that division finish. If the Chargers are going to win the West, now, look, AI can be wrong all the time, but 10-7 finish for the Chiefs, seconds behind the Chargers. They're in the playoffs, 78%, and look at that, 7% to 9% with the Bucs winning the NFC South. Winning the NFC South. I think if Baker Mayfield wins the South, and Baker Mayfield goes 11-6 and 12-5, and if he keeps rolling the way he is rolling, look, he's going to have to throw more touchdowns. He's going to have to throw less interceptions. He's going to have to keep doing what he's doing with his legs. But if he keeps that Superman cape on at the moment, given the schedule that we're going to see coming up here for the Bucs going forward, remember, I have my biggest bet of the preseason on the Bucs to win the South. I loved that play. D-Bro will join us on the program on Friday. We talked about it in the preseason. It was one of his favorite bets. He talked me into it. I went heavy on the Bucs to win the NFC South. And up to this point, I'm not mad that I did so. We're only, a third of the way through the season, so we got a ways to go. And as long as Baker stays healthy, I think the team is okay. That's a big if in the NFL when it comes to quarterbacks. But if Baker can stay healthy, then I think this team has a real good shot of winning the division. Falcons looked good, but that's why I think the Bills and Josh Allen, I don't think Josh Allen is in the conversation anymore, even though he's the second shortest odds to win the MVP. I just think he doesn't have the weapons at the moment to enable him to win that award, because I think the Bills are going to lose a bunch of games. And if the Patriots were to win the AFC East, and I love Dolphin fan, and I love all the Patriot haters out there that are, this feels so similar to me. Like, this is a warm blanket for Patriot fans. Like, we are so accustomed to this, like hating the Patriots because they're good versus hating the Patriots because of the Patriots. It's so much better to be in this position. And Bills fans and Dolphin fans and Jet fans are like, are you kidding me? We have to deal with Drake May? Really? The Patriots are calling the Eagles for A.J. Brown again. They're making that inroads again. There's thoughts. Bill Simmons floated it out there that the Patriots are going to go try to trade for a running back. Which one? We don't know yet, but a guy in Baltimore might be available if things really go south here for the Ravens. Could you imagine Derrick Henry getting linked back up with Mike Vrabel in New England? Remember, they played together in Tennessee. Like, could you imagine if that was there? And 100%, 100% it means that we're back, PB. Yes, that the hatred is there. But for Baker Mayfield, I don't know, man. I'm all in. Let's go. I'm all in. Let's go. I think it's such a cool story. 3.5 to 1. If Mayfield wins in Detroit, if you think he's going to, it's worth a bet on him to win the MVP and hold that ticket. If he loses, you might see a little bit of a bigger number. So maybe if you think he's going to lose to Detroit, which is really possible given what Jared Goff does at home and how great the Lions have been in the dome at home, even without a secondary. If you want to wait, you may get better odds, but I think Baker Mayfield, there's a lot of value right now on Baker Mayfield. I know Patrick Mahomes is Patrick Mahomes, but again, the schedule is why I would be very careful about betting Patrick Mahomes. They're already 3-3, and they have the 6th hardest schedule the rest of the way in the NFL. Baker Mayfield, it's 17th. That, I think, is a very big difference and why I think there's more value on betting on Mayfield to win the MVP than Mahomes to win the MVP. Let's talk some baseball. All right, what happened last night? The Dodgers are inevitable. I mean, they are as annoying and as frustrating as any Marvel comic villain that's ever existed. Shohei Ohtani is doing nothing. Nothing. And this team won't lose. They just won't lose. Yamamoto throws a complete game in the playoffs in a 5-1 win. Freddie Freeman after the game. I don't know if you can write enough words in your stories about our starting pitching. It really has been amazing. And he's 100% right because you saw it in game 1. They almost blew game 1 because of the bullpen. The Achilles heel of the Dodgers is their bullpen. It's been their bullpen all year. It's been their bullpen in the playoffs. If you're going to beat the Dodgers, you got to get the starter out of the game. And right now, that ain't happening. You aren't getting to the bullpen right now. And now Glasnow into Shohei or flip it, depending on what Dave Roberts does in game 3 and game 4. I don't want to say this is over, but my God, this feels like it's over. 10 teams have come back down 0-2 to win a series in a best-of-7 series in Major League Baseball. The Dodgers did it in 2020. 10. It's been done, but it's really unlikely. The list gets even shorter when you talk about teams losing the first 2 games at home. 3 teams have done it, the 1985 Royals, the 1996 Yankees, and the 2020 Dodgers, but they did it during COVID, okay, where there were no fans in the stands. So I'm not going to sit there and give much credence to what the Dodgers did in 2020. So you got to go back to 1996. My freshman year in college was the last time we saw a team down 0-2 in a best-of-7 series, losing game 1 and game 2 at home to come back and win the series. And you're going to do it against the reigning champs with the highest payroll in baseball, with the generational talent that is Shohei Ohtani. Right. Right. That is not happening. And it's so frustrating because I'm sitting there with that ticket for the Brewers, and I didn't like the $250 price for going in. I really don't like it now on the Brewers to win this series or the Dodgers to win this series because it's astronomical. I mean, it's unbettable. It was unbettable after game 1. I made a mistake. And like when I talk to you guys and tell you guys about the conversations that how much better of a gambler Dave made me is because the conversation about what to do with my ticket for the Brewers would have dominated this show for the better part of a day or 2 before the series began. Because we would have talked it out. That's what we did. Like, Dave had his own tickets, his own. Dave bet a ton, and Dave would he doesn't need my advice to bet, but I needed his. And so I would throw out, okay, Dave, what do I do? Here's my scenario. He would say, okay, try that. Well, what about this? What about this? And he would leave it up to me to make the decision as to what to do. So ultimately, I'm the one pulling the trigger. It's my decision. It's my play. But I'm a talker. Duh. I talk things out. I don't do well in my brain. I don't do well when it's just me and my thoughts. I do much better when I'm talking, whether it be problems, relationships, whatever it might be. When I'm talking, then I'm able to get something out and I can work out how I really feel by listening to the words coming out of my own mouth. Okay. Because 95% of the time I don't watch what I say. I want to talk about what's happening really in my brain. So I'll just talk about it. And he'll be like, don't do this. What if you tried that or this or that? And so I was sitting there going, do I lay 250 on the Dodgers? And Dave would have said, well, yeah, because the Dodgers are going to win game one, Matt. If they win game one, your bet's dead. It's unbettable. So you have to bet the Dodgers in game one, and you have to bet the Dodgers to win the series, because if you don't, then you're done. I didn't bet the Dodgers in game one. I bet the Brewers. I didn't bet the Dodgers in game two. I bet the Brewers. And I didn't bet the Dodgers in game for the series. I'm going to lose all three bets. Okay. So to give you guys an idea of how in-depth Dave and I would get with conversations about gambling and how many hours we would spend on the phone talking through plays, it has never been more apparent to me and more heart-wrenching to me than this damn ticket for the Milwaukee Brewers at 26-1. Unbelievable closing line value. Take the best picture of a City of Las Vegas trash can that Dave Sharapan would have on his Twitter account, and it's up there. This is one of my all-timers from a CLV perspective with the Brewers. And unless magic happens, unless we see something that no one is expecting, where the Brewers somehow figure out how to hit, because every Brewer fan that I know, and I don't know a ton of them, but I know enough of them, they are all telling me that this feels so familiar to every playoff run that the Brewers have had in recent memory. That this has just been over and over and over again. The Brewers' inability to score runs in the playoffs that they can be right there. I mean, you hold the Dodgers to 2 runs in game one. That's a game you have to win. Even last night, I mean, yeah, they lost the game 5-1, but you got to think you got to be in the game. They weren't even in the game. They had a solo home run to start the game, and that's it. Nothing else. Yamamoto just shut them down. You guys aren't doing anything. I don't know where you go if you're a Brewers fan, because the Dodgers can play so much better. The Dodgers aren't playing that well. They're pitching well, but they're not playing to their capability. Mookie's not done anything. Shohei, single RBI last night, but where's the power from Ohtani? We haven't seen this. And oh yeah, by the way, that guy's going to the mound in one of those 2 games to start. It's just brutal. It's just absolutely brutal. They had 0 at-bats with runners in scoring position. Yep. Dodgers are Thanos. They are. They are inevitable. They are a annoying, frustrating, incredible baseball team. And if you're a Dodger fan, you can just go, we're winning it all. Okay, this version of the Dodgers, they're going back-to-back. I don't see any of the 3 teams left having enough to handle the Dodgers. If they get elite starting pitching, see you later. Again, the only way you beat the Dodgers is getting into the bullpen. And if you can't get the starter out of the game, and last night, he never came out. Dave Roberts did not use the bullpen. So guess what in game 3? If there's any sign of trouble, you have your entire bullpen rested. You have every high leverage arm you would want available in game number 3. It could not be looking worse. Like when the Red Sox came back down 0-3 to the Yankees, you could see the path. Every Red Sox fan could see the path. We just didn't want to talk about it. And that's why Kevin Millar famously said to Dan Shaughnessy before game 4, don't let us win one. Don't let us win one. Because the lineup was Pedro Martinez, Curt Schilling, Derek Lowe. You had 3 elite starting pitchers, and you had Derek Lowe lined up for game 7, and Derek Lowe had already won a game 7 in the previous series. And so you felt very good about Derek Lowe being effective as the number 3 starter in a game 7 situation. Curt Schilling, bloody sock, all that, right? That happened. Okay, that all happened. There's none of that. There's none of that for the Brewers. They don't have that type of starting rotation. They don't have those elite pitchers that you see and you're like, if we just get it to this game, we just get it here, we'll be okay. Freddie Peralta was 9-1 at home this year, and he lost the game last night. That was the season. That was the season. They had to win that game last night, and they could account for one run on one swing in the first at-bat of the game, and they got nothing else. Great pitching in Major League Baseball playoff action. Great pitching silences everything else. If you have it, you can win the whole thing. If you have it and you have a lineup that has guys like Max Muncy who are hitting home runs, and you forget, oh yeah, by the way, that guy's a problem in the 6, 7, 8, 9 hole. Like they got guys who can hurt you all the way through the lineup. That Kike Hernandez can hurt you. Double off the wall. Like guys, look at the bottom of the Brewers order. Okay. Yes, there's great bats at the top, but the bottom, these guys are micro. They're tiny. They're slap hitters at best. But they were able to get timely hits, 2-out hits. How did they beat the Cubs? They scored a ton of runs with runners in scoring position in 2 outs. That's how they beat the Cubs. That's the problem. Unreal. We'll talk about the game 3 tonight between the Mariners and the Blue Jays. It's a little different. It's a little different to me on this. One more from last night. How about the Rangers? They were shut out again. So the Rangers made a head coaching change, and they brought in the former coach for the Pittsburgh Penguins because they had to play better at home. They were 19-4, I believe it was, last year at home. They were a 500 hockey team at home at MSG, and that wasn't good enough given the talent that they had. But the Rangers have made history now. They're the first team in the history of the NHL to have 3 straight games at home, and they got shut out in all of them. No team has ever opened up 0-3, getting blanked at home in the history of the NHL. I mean, if you're a Ranger fan, you got to be going, what did we do? Like, what did we do? We brought in Mike Sullivan because we thought, hey, bring in a Sully, right? Bring in a guy who's won a couple of cups. Coach Crosby, all those years. Bring him. They can't score. No goals in 3 games, all at home. Uh-oh, if you are a Ranger fan. Not good. Not a good start. that is not a good start by any means. That is not a good start. Yikes. Let's talk football. It is week 7. How is that possible? Evan Abrams Action Network Primer. Awesome. I'm not going to go through all of it. We'll do some more of it tomorrow. We'll do some more of it on Friday. Tomorrow on the show, it is a Bet Chris Arizona Thursday with our guy. I don't know where Adam Bjorn's going to be. I honestly don't know. I know he told me today he's in the air all day, he said today. So he's flying somewhere across the globe. He was here in Vegas last week. So far he's been in Jamaica, Michigan, Vegas, and Malta. So let's see where Adam is tomorrow. I actually don't know, but he was flying all day today. So Adam Bjorn, Spain. Okay, sure. Island of Man is where he was before. Maybe there, but somewhere in Eastern Europe, I'm guessing, is where we're going to find Adam Bjorn tomorrow on the show. So stay tuned for that. Adam Bjorn from Bet Chris Arizona will join us tomorrow on the show. We'll go over more of these stats and trends and action as to where the sharp money. He gave us some unbelievable nuggets last week about where the pro, he calls it master, so don't get confused. It's the same. Master's money. Where did that come in? Pros went 3-1 in those games in which he told us there was, and the only loss was the Browns. They were taking the Browns and they were backing a rookie quarterback on the road, making his first true road start for the Browns, and he played poorly. They had a chance to score a touchdown late and maybe even cover, but that didn't happen. So the loss, it was a coin flip at the end of the game as to whether or not the Browns could cover that game. So it wasn't a bad bet to take the Browns, but the Jets, pros were all over the Jets. They were all over the Chiefs. So he gave us some great stuff. So looking forward to finding out where the master money is coming in for Bet Chris Arizona, because they are a sharp book. Them partnering with Prime Sportsbook. Planetech is the technology that they use that links the two with Adam is ahead of. So that's why you hear me talk about Bet Chris Arizona and Prime Sportsbook, they're two different brands that use the same technology. Okay. they're licensed in different states. BetCrest Arizona is licensed in Arizona. Prime Sportsbook is in New Jersey, Ohio, and Kentucky. So like that's where things are in terms of the connection. That's why we talk about it. They're not just one state. They have multiple states they're looking for. In Ohio, they have a lot of big players in Ohio, and New Jersey is New Jersey. So, to give you an idea. So that's tomorrow on the show with BetCrest Arizona's Adam Bjorn for the NFL and Thursday Night Football. More on that here in just 1 second. All right, the public continues to get hammered. 15-36 now against the number on games with 60+ tickets on one side in the NFL. So, look, I don't subscribe to this. You guys have heard me talk about this information. The reason why I love what we do with Adam is because this is the only information you should really take. And in all honesty, it can change by the time we get to kickoff. But for Thursday Night Football, for instance, he's reading the information straight off the screen. Okay? Like straight off the screen. So it is as fresh can be. Okay? So like this is where I'm going, if he says it and he tells us right there where the master money is, maybe if you want to, you can trail it. Last week, you would have gone 3-1. Better than what the pros or what the public is doing right now when they are heavy from a ticket perspective on one side. They're getting beat badly. Let's talk about Thursday night. Mike Tomlin as a favorite, as we know, is a fade. Okay. Mike Tomlin, when he's favored by 4 points or more, and he's favored by more than 4 points now against the Bengals here coming up tomorrow night, 13-26-1 against the spread since 2017. This is a very complicated game, okay? Because the Bengals have Joe Flacco. And the Bengals, well, that pissed off Mike Tomlin. And you rarely hear a head coach criticize another team, make a trade, and hear anything about them. But Mike Tomlin was pretty vocal about being pissed off at the Browns for trading Joe Flacco to the Bengals inside the division. And Mike Tomlin said of Joe Flacco, he was good enough to start the season for the Cleveland Browns. And then the Browns gave Joe Flacco to the Bengals in the division inside the same state. And he said, I don't know what they're doing. So there could be some extra anger here with Mike Tomlin, the fact that trade actually went down, because I would be on Mike Tomlin's side for all of this. What the hell was that? Why would you do that? Why in the hell would you do that? Why would you give Joe Flacco to the Bengals? On Thursday Night Football, under Mike Tomlin, the Steelers are 2-8 straight up and 3-7 against the spread, and they've lost 4 games in a row straight up, as well as against the number on Thursday Night Football. The last time they won was in 2016. They suck on a short week. Can you bet the Bengals? I don't know if you can bet the Bengals, but I saw a power rating today that came out this morning, and I think it was Fox Sports who did it. This writer had the Steelers ranked 3rd in power ratings in the NFL. The Steelers. And I went, are we watching the same sport? The Steelers can't really run the football. DK Metcalf has been a menace for defenses, but the Patriot game, that was 5 turnovers. Okay. You could say, well, the defense caused those turnovers. Kind of. The fumbles were pretty bad, and they both happened at the goal line. So I don't really like that game. The international game, well, they were up big and they had to hang on all the way to the end against the Vikings. So they won that game 24-21. They won, but they weren't that impressive doing it. I think we're overestimating the Steelers a little bit. Okay. I think they're a little bit overrated. Do they lose tomorrow night? No. Can't see them losing tomorrow night. But it'll be wild if Mike Tomlin loses. If Mike Tomlin loses to the Bengals, I mean, the Bengals have been equally pathetic, though. I mean, the Bengals have been bad. It's hard to look at the Bengals and be like, yeah, that's a team I want to back, given what's going on. Mike Tomlin, when he faces Zach Taylor and the Bengals and Joe Burrow is not playing in those games, it's been pretty much a domination. Tomlin's 4-1 straight up and 4-1 against the spread. Okay. But when he faces Joe Burrow, he is 3-4 straight up. So obviously everything's different because Zach Taylor can't beat anybody without his Hall of Fame quarterback. I'll give it to you. Sometimes you need that guy, most times, but Zach Taylor, Brian Callahan is gone. Zach Taylor, you're next on my list. You're next on my list. Question from the chat. Confident enough for a survivor pick? No. This violates every damn rule. No, absolutely not. Division game, short week game. No, this is not a survivor pick. Do not take the Steelers, in my opinion, with a survivor pick. Speaking of Brian Callahan, Evan Abrams went and did a little research. Is there really a dead cat bounce that everyone's talking about? The Titans have fired Brian Callahan. Patriots laying 7 against the Titans this coming week. In fact, Evan Abrams has discovered this. No team as a 5-point or more dog in the week following firing their head coach has won in the NFL over the last 10 years. So in the modern NFL, in today's NFL, we have not seen a team that is a big dog the following week after kicking out their coach suddenly rally and win the game. Now, could they cover? Maybe. It's a big number. But the idea of the Patriots losing at Tennessee, highly unlikely. Highly unlikely. However, if you're looking for some angles, teams playing on the third game of a road trip after going 2-0 straight up to start the road trip are just 15-27 straight up in the third game and 16-24-2. 16-24-2 ATS over the last 20 years. So maybe there's a little worry there. My issue and why I don't think this trend holds is because it's Mike Tomlin against his former team. I think if Mike Tomlin wasn't the former coach of the Titans, and if Mike Tomlin didn't take the Titans to the number 1 seed in the AFC, and if Mike Vrabel wasn't beloved by the people of Nashville, don't twist it. Mike Vrabel is going to be the most popular man in that building on Sunday. They love him there. They did not want to see him get fired. They were angry when he was let go, and they replaced him with a guy who won 4 games in 2 years. Mike Vrabel has 4 wins this year with the Patriots in 6 games. So there is a lot of animosity. There will be a lot of love for Mike Vrabel. He will want to go in there. And this week, I think the Patriots are going to be very focused. I would be extremely surprised if the Patriots have a bad week of practice and have a bad week of focus. Mike Vrabel is, he probably should still be the coach of the Titans, to be quite honest. If you want to really talk about it, he really should be the same as he should not have been fired. Horrible decision. Awful decision by the Titans to fire Mike Vrabel. So that's why I think the Patriots are a play. I think if you get it 7 or lower, great. I wouldn't play it over 7. It's only climbing. So find a 7 in the marketplace, but Pats -7 against the Titans, I think is a play coming up this week. We have another international game coming up this Sunday morning. It really is interesting. How do you guys feel about this modern schedule? Because tell me in the chat, how do you guys feel about this? Because this is now multiple weeks. We saw it last week, okay? And we're getting, if you're on the West Coast, you're getting a very early game. Even on the East Coast, you're getting a very early game, okay? And we are getting a morning game on the West Coast and the East Coast. So Pittsburgh, the Rams against Jacksonville, that's a 9:30 Eastern time kick. We're getting a Sunday night kickoff at 8:20, which is very late, okay? So that's a 12 midnight type game. And then we're getting 2 games on Monday Night Football. 2 Monday Night Football games. So international game, I get up at around 6:30 in the morning, right when that game kicks off. I put it on. I start doing, my doom scrolling on my phone, and I watch the first quarter before I get up. Okay. So then I get up, it's about 7 o'clock, get my coffee. I then get out to the kitchen, get out into the living room, and I'm in the living room and I put the games on and I watch the game there as I prep for the show that I do on Sunday morning for Betting Pros. That show starts at 9 a.m. Pacific time. So I watch the game for 2 hours and then I go downstairs and I watch and I come down here and I do the show from here. And then I go back upstairs and I watch the games at 1 o'clock. So then I watch the games all day. Then Sunday night kickoff happens and we're there to Sunday night. So now West Coast time, it's like 9 o'clock. So now I've been watching football from 6:30 in the morning to 9:30 or so at night. And then Monday comes and we have 2 games to watch. I guess I should have known that, but I have been of the thought process that the more international games we get, if the ratings continue to slip for Thursday, and if the games are bad and the public knows the games are bad on Thursday, I wonder if we get more international games and Thursday night football could be a thing of the past. Now, I don't think the NFL ever wants to give up standalone. The NFL loves standalone because people watch, right? It's football in a window that we all want to watch. Whether it's crap football or not, it's still NFL football. So I don't think Thursday will go away. But the double Monday night schedule, that might be a thing that becomes permanent. And I don't hate it. CBW loves the 9:30 games. It's 6:30 here. I can't say I love that. Yeah. 6:30 in the morning, Sonic. International games at 6:30 in the morning. That's when the international games go off. So I would have rather, you guys love the morning games. Okay. So you guys are liking it. Get up in the morning. It's so early on the West Coast. I don't hate it. The games aren't great, but I don't hate it. It's football overseas. One day I will go over there and check it out. 100% I'll go over there and want to be a part of it. But you've got an international game that takes us up to the 1 o'clock games, that takes us up to Sunday to 4 o'clock to Sunday night to sleep. You get up, you go to work, and you have 2 games on Monday night. That is the modern day schedule of the NFL. That is different. Okay. When I was growing up, there was Monday night and Sunday games. That's it. Okay. That's all we had. Now we have games all over the place, and we have Black Friday games, and we have Saturday games in January, and the NFL just is slowly taking over everything. You don't like the double Monday night, Anthony. Wow. I love the double Monday night. I would sacrifice Thursday to get the double Monday night football games. I think it's great. It's 2 games to bet on. If one game sucks, you watch the other one. And if one game's not interesting, the other one probably is going to be. You didn't like this past week? Bills and the Falcons first? You didn't enjoy that first game, then you get to slide over to the second game? You didn't like that? Wow. I love the double Monday night. I'm all in on that. Give me the double Monday night 100%. DeMarco, I don't think you're right about that. I can't say no one's watching at 6:30. I don't think that's true. I don't think there's ever been an NFL game where, quote, no one is watching in the last 15 to 20 years. Like, everyone watches. You might not watch, but everyone watches. They get up and they watch it. They might miss the first quarter. I could see that on a Saturday. You're like, hey, my honey-do list starts later and I don't want to get up and I'm going to sit here. I'm going to sleep in. It's my Saturday. It's my day off. I'll give you that the early part of the game might get missed on the West Coast, but people are getting up to watch it. People are 100% getting up to watch these games and being a part of it. I'm alone in the sports book at 6:30 in the morning. Well, yeah, okay. I'm not talking about getting up, getting showered, and go to the book. I'm not talking about that. I don't do that either. I'm in my bed. Okay. I roll over at 6:30, grab the remote, put the game on, grab my phone, and that's how my day starts. I'm not getting up at 6 a.m. or 5:30, showering and going to the book. No, it sucks. If you work at a book and you got to be there that early, yeah, that sucks because you get all the betting. You got to be there. You got to be open for business. So from a book perspective, yeah, you've heard guys on this show, you've heard from the South Point when we talked to Chris Andrews. He was like, the perks of seniority, he doesn't have to go in early, but the young guys do. I mean, the South Point is 24 hours. Remember that. They never close. So we have one of these international games. Sean McVay is 2-0 against the spread with a combined score in the two international games for the Rams of 57-10. However, the Jaguars are the most experienced about going overseas. They're 7-6 against the number. And this is a weird step. So first-time head coaches, which is what Liam Cohen is, hasn't gone over there yet. First time ever going over there. They're 4-2 going over there to take on the Rams. McVay's played twice with the Rams overseas. A first-time head coach overseas against a veteran, meaning 2 or more games under their belt as a head coach in the NFL. 7-1 against the number for the first-time head coach. Maybe because they're more excited. Maybe because they think it's cool. It's a different thing. So there's more pep in the step. There's more excitement for the young guy. The first-time head coach, the first-year head coach to come in. But 7-1 and 7-1. It's a pretty good number. Rams are laying 3. Teams coming off of a true road game like the Rams are and favored in an international game are 13-1 straight up and 11-3 against the number. Again, just a trend. Every game's different, but that's a wild trend. Rams were on the road last week. Big road win. Beat the Ravens in Baltimore 17-3. Get on a plane. They're heading back. They're going overseas. Teams doing that favored in the game overseas. 13-1 against the spread. 11-3 against the number. That might make you want to take take the Rams against the Jags. Laying just 3 in London coming up on Sunday. One more game. Eagles have lost 2 straight. The bounce back spot for Nick Sirianni and the Eagles has not been good. When Philly is coming off a loss under Nick Sirianni, they are just 7-14 against the spread. 7-14 for the Eagles on the road against the Vikings off a bye, and the Eagles are favored. -2.5, -2, -1.5. The number's coming down. People are taking the Vikings, and I can't really blame them. How could you blame them for taking the Vikings, who need this game? Now, you can say, Matt, the Eagles need this game. They're 4-2. The Vikings are 3-2. The Vikings need this game too. Green Bay is 3-1-1. Detroit is 4-2. Detroit wins, they go to 5-2. All of a sudden, the Vikings lose, they go 3-3. Vikings are 2 games back of the Lions. Forget Green Bay. That is not great. And yes, Brendan, Philly has something going on internally. They do not look good. Not even breaking huddles as a team. 100%. We talked about it on the show, the fact that they had a meeting of the stars. They forgot to invite A.J. Brown. It was Saquon Barkley, it was Devonta Smith, and it was Jalen Hurts, and they forgot to invite A.J. Brown. Like, how do you forget to invite A.J. Brown? So A.J. Brown, the Patriots are calling about A.J. Brown. I guarantee you multiple teams are calling about A.J. Brown, trying to find out whether or not the Eagles would actually trade him away. Again, a connection to Mike Vrabel and A.J. Brown, the time in Tennessee. I mean, Patriot fans are so deliriously drunk right now as to what's going on. They're talking about trading for both of them, meaning you go get Derrick Henry and you go get A.J. Brown and you reconstitute the offense that was in Tennessee that was unbelievable under Mike Vrabel. Power football. I mean, it's not happening, but like, that's the dream. Like, that's the dream to do that. If they can figure that out. Tom, good point, Dom. They forgot to throw to A.J. Brown too. That is true. Yes, absolutely. So if you're trading A.J. Brown, or at least that rumor might be real in that locker room, if that's true, that they might be looking to remove somebody from that team, I don't know how you back the Eagles on the road against the Vikings in that environment. Yeah, home dogs in the NFL have been very profitable, historically speaking, and I think this week as well, it's a good shot. Home dog to take the Vikings here against the Eagles. We'll break that game down more tomorrow with Adam Bjorn and as the week goes, and with Debro on Friday. But that's a hell of a game. That's the game I am the most curious about. As a fan, obviously Patriots Titans is really interesting because of all the dead cat bounce stuff and Mike Vrabel going home that's sort of like a TMZ type interest in that game. Football is not going to be pretty, but from a football standpoint, Eagles Vikings is going to be very, very interesting. More on that tomorrow on the show. We do have a game 3 tonight. Blue Jays and the Mariners. Kirby against Bieber. My God, Toronto, can you win this game, please? If you don't, it's over. Don't give me Red Sox Yankees 2004. The Blue Jays are not winning 4 games in a row against the Mariners. If they want any shot, and I mean any shot, you would bet Toronto tonight. Toronto will be the side. Mariners are favored. Bet Toronto. Plus money, right? You get plus money on Toronto. I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't bring myself to believe in the Brewers or in these Blue Jays. This looks like Seattle against LA, and the East Coast elite people are going to flip out because it's a West Coast World Series. And you've got star power. I mean, Cal Raleigh against Shohei Ohtani. Like, you've got some really interesting star power type stuff going on. I think the Mariners storyline will resonate with true baseball fans because the Mariners have never played in the World Series, even with Ken Griffey Jr., even with A-Rod, they never made the World Series. Randy Johnson never made the World Series. So now, if they do win the American League pennant and they go to the World Series, they're going to be facing a juggernaut, and the Dodgers are going to be, if you're not a Dodger fan, it's the world against the Dodgers. Everybody will be cheering for Seattle. But again, I have a hard time seeing the Dodgers not winning their second consecutive World Series. I just have a hard time. Dave Roberts, yes, he could be the one Achilles heel. And again, if you get the starter out of the game, and the Mariners have scored a ton of runs against Blue Jay pitching, but the Blue Jays are not nearly as good pitching-wise as the Dodgers have been. But for tonight, well, I think it's pretty interesting. Let's make some picks before we let go of our friends at Sports Grid, because games tonight could be really interesting. I think we see offense tonight. All right, just the picks. I'm going over. I think both offenses have a chance to score against Bieber and against Kirby. Kirby's been good, but Bieber got rocked in his last start against the Yankees. I don't really trust him. Obviously, the only way Toronto wins this game is by scoring 4 to 5 runs in my mind. I don't think they win a 2-1 baseball game. I mean, watch them go and do it, but it just doesn't equate to my brain. And the Mariners scored double digits last game out in game 2. That building tonight is going to be electric. I can't wait to watch this game. I don't want to bet the side. I just bet the over. I think we see runs over 7 here. Again, it's somewhat correlated. If the Mariners win, the game's going to go under. If the Blue Jays win, the game's going to go over. So you can, pair it up if you would like. Yep, that's exactly the way I feel about that. Under in Seattle, over and Toronto. Correlated coming up on this. A double sweep. Yeah, it's on the table, obviously-ish. I think you got to consider it. It would stink, but I think it's really possible. I think it's really possible. Look, JC, I know you guys in the Midwest and you guys on the East Coast, nobody wants to see Seattle, LA. Nobody wants to see a West Coast World Series. I'll give it to you. I'm on the West Coast. I don't really mind, to be quite. Yeah, I think that's a fair point, St. Louis Ray. The playoffs have been boring. I'll be curious what the ratings are, but I think there's a lot of truth to that. We haven't seen, it's been really well played, but we haven't seen a storyline, a performance other than last night with Yamamoto. A complete game in the playoffs is amazing. We haven't seen something that's made us all go like, oh my God, how'd that happen? Wow. There's been a couple of decent games, but not as a whole. I think that's fair. Okay. I think that's fair that we haven't seen as much. To hockey, I like the Panthers tonight in regulation. If you are a hockey fan, there are a couple of good games that you can watch tonight that's on the schedule. This game, I hit the Golden Knights in regulation last night. This game for Florida, defending champs on the road here, coming up tonight against Detroit. I haven't seen who's starting in net yet, but I don't really care if it's Talbot, but if it's Gibson, I'm in love with this play here. It's -140, so maybe it's Talbot in net. But I got the Panthers coming off a loss. They lost their last time out against the Flyers in the first game of this road trip, 5-2. I don't think they lose back-to-back games. I don't want to lay -140, so I'll just take the Florida Panthers in regulation. And I like the Blackhawks against the Blues tonight on the puck line, catching 1.5 goals. The Blackhawks are 2-0 this year on the road already on the puck line, up 2 units. They're losing, but they're losing by 1, 4-3, 3-2. I think the same thing happens here tonight. 3-2, 4-3. This game could very well go into overtime. If it goes into overtime, this bet cashes. 2-2, 3-2. Sorry, 2-2, 3-3 after regulation. Not awful. I like the Blackhawks on the puck line coming up here at plus 1.5 goals against St. Louis. If you guys are watching live, don't move. More to come in bonus time for you guys listening as well on the audio podcast. Also, don't move. If you're watching on the replay on Sports Grid, thank you for being here. Tomorrow, Adam Bjorn joins. It's a Bet Chris Arizona Thursday. Hope to see you all back here on Thursday. The rest of you guys, don't move. Bonus time now. Hockey has been pretty interesting to start. I'm actually really excited to see what's going to happen over the next couple of days because our guy, Chris Otto, who puts together just that incredible, really, really fun spreadsheet, he waits about a week or so to get it out. So Gibson is due. I guess that's one way of doing it. His goals against is 8, JPC. It's high. Yeah, all of it. The gifts, the goals in the first 10, the GIF goal in the first 5, first period under, first period over, all the great stuff that Otto, all the information that he puts together. We're only a couple of games in, so we got to wait until we get some more data to be able to see some trends. But I'm looking forward to seeing what's going to happen here over the next couple of games. Or probably, he said on the 3rd of October that he needed to go for a couple of weeks before he could launch it. So maybe another couple of days, maybe 3 or 4 days, and then he'll start putting it out there and we can start looking at those trends and looking at who's doing what. But I didn't need Otto to find that trend, but the Blackhawks have been really good, tight in hockey games on the road. So 2-0 to the puck line already for the Blackhawks and their dogs again here. So minus 130 at FanDuel if you're looking for that bet, or at least it was last night for puck line with Chicago coming up. Oh, Chicago John, there you go. You took a puck line, you took a money line, John. I like a puck line tonight. You can take a money line. Good plus price on that. But, yeah, we got on the ground floor for those things. Yeah. I mean, that was because of Chris and Dave. I mean, they knew each other really well before the show ever started. Otto and puck line. Good. Look at that. Look at minds thinking alike. Yes. I think that's a good play. Yeah. I mean, there's something. I think the content space probably, the betting space was on those things. I mean, hockey betting's been going on for a long time. Before BVB started, hockey betting was going on. But I think we highlighted a lot of, I know the Otto side of things, us highlighting Chris Otto's spreadsheet. A lot of people started paying attention to Chris Otto after we started talking about Chris Otto and Dave brought Chris Otto on. So, okay. So it's Talbot. Okay. Too bad. I was hoping it was going to be Gibson, but again, I'm okay with it. So, took the Panthers on the money line. Okay. I took them in regulation. It's money line's a minus 140. It's not awful. It's just more expensive than I wanted to put down for a hockey play early in the year. It's just because it's so darn volatile. It's just, I'd rather just lay the unit rather than almost 1.5 units on that bet. So, but I do think they win. So, either in regulation or overtime, I think you'll cash. I'm taking a little bit of a chance by having it not go to overtime, but I like the Panthers in regulation at plus 110. I got plus 110 last night on that. Interesting news involving our friends at Kalshi. We haven't talked about them for a while. And just so you guys know, we are going to change that. Sonic and I have been trying to go back and forth. We can't locate the music for that. So once I find the music, we can change that. Not that I want to take Dave off everything, but it's hard. I think all of us, when we see pictures of Dave, it's difficult. So I don't want to offend anybody. I don't want to make anybody feel like that's inappropriate to have that stuff. So we have slowly gone through almost everything and changed over everything. The last thing we have not changed is the spinning newspaper that has the picture of Dave and I both on it. So that'll happen at some point in the very near future. But Massachusetts is taking a very different approach to what's going on with Kalshi. So Massachusetts has decided that they're not going to fight this in federal court. The Mass case is now arguing that Kalshi is offering sports betting, which is what they advertise it as, not prediction market, but sports betting, that it does not comply with the requirements set out by the Mass Gaming Commission. They want Kalshi to get a license. Legal betting operators in the state must pay taxes in Massachusetts. Kalshi does not pay taxes in Massachusetts, and they are subject to what is considered the toughest responsible gaming, advertising, and consumer protection laws in the U.S. The Attorney General for Massachusetts came out last Friday and issued this statement publicly. Our laws governing the sports gaming industry exist for a reason. If Kalshi wants to be in the sports gaming industry here in Massachusetts, they have to play by the rules. We're suing. Joy Campbell, Andrea Joy Campbell, the AG of Massachusetts, she is looking at this not from a federal perspective, but a state perspective. And this is considered to be a game changer, and it has angered Kalshi, who went immediately to a federal judge to try to stop this from happening. That this is not lawful because only the federal government, only the CFTC can, tell Kalshi what to do, not Massachusetts. This is the first time an attorney general has challenged the legality of sport event contract markets in state court. Robinhood, partnered with Kalshi, went to federal court Monday. Today's Wednesday, Monday, and asked for an order to prevent the state from enforcing its laws against Robinhood and Kalshi. Robinhood was not a defendant in the lawsuit brought Friday, but it said, quote, there is a real and imminent threat that it will be subjected to a similar suit because, frankly, once I think we open up the hood on Kalshi in discovery, we're going to find out a lot about the connection between Kalshi and Robinhood. At the moment, it's all just what people assume is a partnership, but I think people believe that there is more than that going on from a legality, from a corporation standpoint, from a sharing of content, a sharing of lists of customers between the two with Robinhood and Kalshi. So this is the first time that we're going to get a state case. If it continues, if it's allowed to continue, that it's going on. I am very curious. In Massachusetts, the gaming control chair, Jordan Maynard, backed the lawsuit. Quote, prediction market companies are expanding into sports wagering while neglecting age restrictions, player protection programs, state taxes, and other consumer protections. My fellow commissioners and I appreciate the Attorney General's efforts to enforce the law and hold these companies accountable to Massachusetts' rigorous standards. We look forward to our continued partnership with the Attorney General and her office. Kalshi has been somewhat quiet on all of this. In a statement provided to ingame.com, Kalshi said that Massachusetts was, quote, relying on outdated laws trying to get its sports contracts shut down. In the statement, quote, Kalshi offers its users a fair, transparent, federally regulated, keyword, and nationwide, keyword, marketplace. Rather than engage in dialogue with Kalshi, as many other states have done, Massachusetts is trying to block Kalshi's innovations by relying on outdated laws and ideas. Prediction markets are a critical innovation, really, in the 21st century, and all Americans should be able to access them. We are proud to be the company that has pioneered this technology and stand ready to defend it once again in a court of law. I can't wait to watch this because we're not going to a federal court in New Jersey or a federal court in Maryland. We're going to a state court. We're going to a state court coming in and saying, no. We're not doing this here, boys. Sorry. That ain't happening. We aren't doing this. This is a mass. And again, this is the most regulated state in sports gambling in America. Massachusetts has taken over the reins of New Jersey. New Jersey was once the number one. Now it's Massachusetts. It's also the most taxed. Also, it's the biggest, gaming control board. They're the ones talking the most aggressively about limiting players. They are not good with this because if Massachusetts shows the path and if they can find the way to shut Kalshi down, now we're getting into multiple other states that are going to try to do the same thing. And again, we go back to 2 or 3 weeks ago when I told you about the government, the federal government, and the fact that for the first time, there was actually some daylight between the CFTC and Kalshi about what might actually happen and that Kalshi might need to prepare for being shut down in different states. And if that were to happen and the CFTC was going to turn a blind eye to it and say, We don't really care if you get shut down in Massachusetts or Maryland or New Jersey or Nevada. According to Kalshi, that is catastrophic to their business and cannot happen. The federal government's kind of saying, well, if the courts say so, we're not getting involved. Again, this story is so crazy. This is one of the most ridiculous, wild stories of my career as a broadcaster. And the fact that it does not get nearly as much publicity as it should is insane. Because the level of blatant in-your-face corruption that's been going on around this story is incredible. It's absolutely incredible. And the number of people that have hitched their wagons to the idea that prediction markets are the future and that this has to be allowed. Well, then why can't you just figure out a way to pay the states? Like states that have legalized sports gambling. How in the world can you tell the states of Utah and Alabama that you're going to advertise sports betting into their state when their state has not legalized sports gambling? And you call it sports betting. Like, how is that legal? How is that okay that a state is forced to allow this to occur in their state and receive no benefit from it, no taxes from it, when they have explicitly denounced it and said, we don't want it? Or a state like Florida that has a law for one operator to control everything, the Seminole tribe to control everything in the state. And the state has okayed in a compact that has been made between the tribe and the state to allow this to happen. And Kalshi gets to come over the top and say, we're not paying attention to that. We don't abide by that. That's not our problem. Really? This is really interesting. So this story is fascinating. It's fascinating. The whole thing is so incredibly fascinating. Favorite thing about today. So my favorite thing about today, I got to surprise my daughter last night. If any of you have gone to Disneyland / California Adventure over Halloween, hit me up. Tell me about what it's like. The last time I took my daughter to Disneyland, she was 6 years old. It's been a long time, but Madeline got all A's in her first term in sixth grade, had a little trouble in math, and then really buckled down, worked hard, and got an A in the term. So I got to surprise her last night saying, on Friday, when I pick you up from school on Friday, we're going straight to Disneyland. And we're going to be there for Friday night and Saturday. And the weather is going to be gorgeous in Anaheim. And it's going to be my third time going to Disneyland, but I've never gone over Halloween. And Halloween is my daughter's favorite time of the year. And she's always wanted to go. She's always wanted to be there and check out and experience Disneyland over Halloween. And so there's a couple of really cool things. The Haunted Mansion, A Nightmare Before Christmas, is her favorite Halloween movie. So they've transformed the mansion all the way into A Nightmare Before Christmas. So like, that's an absolute must. I'm a Star Wars geek, so we're going to go do the Star Wars stuff. That's true. We did get both passes, in case you're curious. We did do the both to be able to go back and forth. So we'll go to the Marvel side of things and go check out the Marvel stuff. And then we'll go over and check out the stuff. So there's, we're going to California Adventure and we're going to Disneyland over one day. It's just going to be all day Saturday. We're going to be exhausted, but spend the whole day on Saturday. It's a gigantic college football day. I understand that, but dad duties calls on this. And so I'm going to punt on, and look, the third Saturday in October to me is a big deal. Alabama, Tennessee is a big deal. The DVR will be on point. We'll be absolutely going crazy, and I'll be following the games. I'll be watching them on my phone in some form or fashion. I'll try to be on two places. And, she's bummed because, we build the lightsaber is something we might do. I don't know if she'll like to do that. We built RTD2 the last time. We still have the RTD2 the last time. So I don't know if we'll do that again. I don't know if she's interested to do that again, but yes, that's all. That's so fun. Yes, I have the park hopper. Yes, that's the both ones. I'm going back and forth 100%. I got that. I got the lightning pass. We did that. So yeah, I mean, SoCal, we're not going to be able to do everything. I'm fully aware of that. Okay. It's supposed to be this, Disneyland and California Adventure is a lot over to do one solid day. It's going to be exhausting. Yes, I'll give it to you, but I can't be there on Sunday, because Sunday is NFL Sunday and I have to be here to do the show for an hour. I can do the Discord channel chat that I do for betting pros on Saturday morning. I can do that from the hotel on Saturday morning before the games. So, or like on the way to the park, I can handle that stuff on Saturday morning. I can't do that from a hotel in California. Like it's tough. So it's going to be fun just to go and pack up a big backpack and, go bring a bunch of water. Yeah. Good call. Yeah. I've been told that, bring a bunch of water, and have all that stuff to go ahead and do that. So, there's a couple, there's 4 or 5 things we want to do, highlight things we want to do. And the beautiful thing about all this, and it's kind of the one bummer for Madeline, I can't go on any ride. Like I can't go on anything that's a big, crazy ride. Either Maddie goes by herself or we don't go at all, because I'll ask my physical therapist tomorrow exactly what I can do and what I can't do, but I know I can't do much. So like I can walk through the Star Wars stuff, or I can walk through the Haunted Mansion. I can't get on a roller coaster. Like I can't get on any of that. My shoulder's not going to hold. So that's the one benefit. Like from a line perspective, we're not going to be sitting waiting in like a million rides. It's going to be a lot of like, yeah, get on the teacups. Absolutely. Yes. Catch Matt where people leave strollers. 100%. That's where I'm going to be at Disneyland. Yes. I'm going to be in the stroller situation there. If she wants to go. I mean, Madeline became somewhat of a daredevil after she turned the age of 10. Before she was 10, she wouldn't step foot on any ride. And then she turned 10, and all of a sudden she was going upside down on roller coasters. I was like, where'd this come from? So I don't know. She may be down with going by herself or maybe not. I don't know. So, but most of the stuff that she wants to do at Disneyland and stuff I want to do at Disneyland will be on the walking side of things and just kind of checking it out and not having to go through all the craziness. So that was fun to be able to surprise her last night and say, hey, by the way, we're going on Friday. She's like, what? So we're going to Disneyland on Friday for Halloween. So good stuff. Guys, thanks for being here. Tomorrow is a Bet Chris Arizona Thursday. Adam Bjorn joins us from where in the world will Adam Bjorn be this time? I have no idea, but he'll join us breaking down week 7 of the NFL Thursday night. Steelers and the Bengals tomorrow night on a Thursday's BVG.